what mil?
104 mil.
104 mil, 70 mil guaranteed. Bro, he deserves it. Bro, you ever watch that YouTube video where it was just like, yo, who's that one dude on your team that you would not want to date your sister? They all said Stephon Diggs. Every single one of them.
Hilarious.
I'm like, I'm dead. I'm freaking dead, bro. You can't make that shit up.
That's fucking hilarious.
Stephon Diggs, I'm like, damn. That dude's a menace.
Hey, I'm so glad the Lakers got eliminated.
Yeah, me too. Especially when everyone was just like, yo, they're projected to be number 2 or like potentially winning the whole thing.
Y'all couldn't even get into a playoff.
Bro.
Y'all couldn't even get into a playoff game, bro. A play-in, I should say.
Play-in game. They couldn't even make it to the play-in game.
That's even sadder, dog.
What we talk about?
Terrible.
What we talk about?
Fucking
We're talking about how. Yeah.
Wait, who?
We were talking about the Lakers not even making the play-in game, and it's like they came in the season starting about like, oh, we're potentially going to be the number 1, number 2, making it into the tournament, like making it into playoffs and potentially winning the whole thing. And buddies couldn't even make it into the play-in tournament. Freaking quacks.
Well,
Russell Westbrook, all that nonsense.
LeBron sat, bro. He didn't even play.
He twisted the fuck out of his ankle though.
Was he? Is he that hurt? Like, I didn't see what happened.
And
to
look,
him.
I don't know if he's that hurt. I can never attest to that. But the video looked terrible.
Yeah,
his fucking ankle was kissing the floor, bro.
All I'm saying is LeBron had the worst GM year of his whole career this year. He was the worst GM that they could have had right at this point. So he's gonna have to fire. LeBron's gonna have to fire their head coach, get a new guy, blame it on him, and then try to.
They say it's gonna be Doc, bro.
You think? You think Doc's gonna leave and come back?
No, that's exactly what they're saying. They were saying like he's a front runner for them, like for sure.
The thing is, Doc's not a yes man, bro. He's not LeBron's guy. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be like, this is how it does, or you get the lead type shit. So
LeBron's at this point right now where he knows, bro, that he has to have like an actual coach that can like coach players around him. Like he can't do everything anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's in this role where he's gonna be like facilitating shit and just try to keep breaking records and all that.
You think there's a chance he goes back to Cleveland?
Unless he's playing with his son.
He'll have to rebuild again. I don't think he wants to do that. I think he wants to keep playing as long as he can until his son comes in, do 1 year with his son, show him the ropes and how he should like be able to handle this being a professional and then get out. I think that's what he wants to do.
That's exactly all he's trying to do at this point. The writing's been on the wall for a very long time. It's just happened a little sooner than he anticipated.
Damn.
Shit crazy.
Yeah, man, big time. Exactly what you were saying. So, like, when it comes down to, like, LeBron doing this thing, I can see him, handling his business. But at the end of the day, it's like, all right, are you trying to win or are you trying to, lament some statistics and try to, you're trying to pretend how to be in management. It's not about that. It's about being a winner at the end of the day. So, we got to do, LeBron.
He's sitting up there all the time ever since he got there, promising them championship after championship. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we're going to get 1, 2, 3.
I mean, it was basically the same
6
energy.
Championships in Miami. What up, baby?
That's what I'm saying. It was the same energy, and he's just not delivering. I mean, he got them the one in the bubble. I mean, everybody shits on that year, but I don't care.
Bro, the bubble doesn't count. Bubble doesn't count.
That's bullshit. Championship is a championship.
I mean, hey, you have a championship where everyone's worried about COVID and certain.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was a weird setting, but I mean, if you play to win the game, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so what does he got? He's got 4 rings right now, right?
I think he has he's 3 or 4.
It's definitely not.
He won the Cleveland, right?
It's either
and
4
then,
or 5.
2 in Miami.
He got 2. He's got 2 in Miami, 1 in LA, 1 in Cleveland. I know that for a fact.
So
that's
4.
what I'm saying.
Does he got a sneaky 5th?
I don't think
he might
so.
have a sneaky 5th, but I don't think he does.
Okay. No, all right. No, he doesn't. So
yeah, he only got 4, bro.
Okay, so
he only has 4. You're right.
Yeah, all right. But I mean, the big thing, I feel like the big thing that was always against LeBron was, especially in the Jordan versus LeBron argument, was always because for the longest time he had 2 championships, 3 championships. Jordan has 6, and now LeBron's got 4. And if he's able to sneak out 1 more, maybe now he's got 5. And then whether he leaves with 5 or he can somehow, what if he even potentially caught Jordan, right?
Doesn't matter.
You don't think it matters?
To me,
I don't think he's going to catch Jordan.
To me, it doesn't matter either. Michael Jordan, to me, will always be the best basketball player of all time. And to be completely honest, I know a lot of people give me shit for this. I'll actually put Kobe Bryant at my number 2 before I put LeBron. I'll put LeBron at number 3.
I would say Kobe's a better competitor than LeBron. I mean, statistically, I would say LeBron is probably better.
Exactly.
But when you talk about a competitor, you want to talk about like who wants to drive to win, who wants to build, that future.
That's how you do the greatest of all time. Like that's what the debate should be.
Right.
Nothing else. I don't give a fuck about the stats. How many rings do you have?
Like
that's the whole reason why we play this game, right? Every season.
And if I asked you, like, because I'm not going to go ahead and say that Kobe's better than Jordan. I'm not going to do that, but I'll say between LeBron and Kobe, if I had to say like just look at the player, like who they are, what they did, what they accomplished, who reminds you more of Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Kobe Bryant?
Kobe, hands down.
Of course,
hands down.
You know what I mean? So like for me, I think that's a big part of it. Like I give him that slight edge. I
mean, LeBron's a good guy. Granted, right? I mean, everyone talks about LeBron's personal life versus Jordan's personal life, and obviously LeBron's done a lot of, Jordan's done a lot of sketchy things in his personal life versus LeBron, and LeBron has a school sending guys to college and this, that, and the other thing. And it makes him look like a good guy because believe it or not, when it comes to MVP, when it comes to this, people worry about if he's a good guy or not. That's a huge thing. It's not even about them being basketball players.
That's so crazy. If he's a good guy. And do you understand how crazy that sounds?
It's crazy. It's not. It should not be a factor at all.
No.
But because he's a good guy, we're going to give him more votes type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
So it gives a damn if you're a good player.
That's what I'm saying.
So they give a damn if you're a good player, as long as you're a good guy and you can put up some stats and maybe win a championship here or there. My guy did a three-peat, dog. A three-peat.
Yeah.
He never got swept in the final. He never lost a finals. First off, Jordan has never lost the finals.
That's right.
And then on top of that, I can never put LeBron up there, bro, because of the fact that he got swept in the finals. And I don't care what team.
I don't care how many kids you put into college.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
I agree.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, no, I can never put someone as the greatest of all time getting swept in the fucking finals. How ludicrous does that sound? Like if you actually sat down and thought about that, like, yeah, my greatest player of all time got swept in the finals. How could you ever say anything?
Nope.
He didn't win one game in that? Not one.
Crazy.
You can't get swept, bro.
Yeah, I'm all set on that.
But I will say, I will call it like it is. I do think LeBron, from a physical standpoint, is the most gifted athlete that's ever
without a doubt.
Basketball.
He worked out before being a professional, unlike Jordan, who didn't start working out until his second year in the pros. Especially when you consider like how
my goat. Do you see why he's my goat? You did it in the second year, and like I guess I have to.
I'll start working out.
You know what I'm saying? Like I guess I'll work at it.
I love that. I absolutely love it. But so no, I'll say that I think those three people will be debated for a long time. And I think there's a few other people that their names will find their way into the mix. But I think for me, those are the big three. So.
Oh, yeah. That's always going to be the top three. I don't even know who I'll put on fourth. Like, I can't even say, like.
Kareem. I put Kareem
But here, the reason why I say I can't say that is because I never got to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we never saw it, like, live.
I mean, he was the all-time scorer and won crazy championships, like, doing his thing back in the day. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. I'm saying
he just got surprised by LeBron.
I'm just saying mine right now. Like, I actually saw, like, Jordan playing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember watching 98, 99, like 5 years old, but I still remember watching that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, I can attest because I saw some of it, but I can't put Kareem up there. You know what I'm saying? I can't put, like, Bill up there. But who I can put for my number 4, I've seen some wild ass shit.
Yeah.
Got to give it up to Steph Curry. That's the
all right, bro. Hey man, I've had a good time. I'm logging off now. We don't need to do the rest of this call. I'm already disgusted.
Bro,
I'm about to puke right now. It's terrible.
Bro, of all time, that motherfucker can't miss.
I put him number 5. I'll put him number 5 because the thing about Steph Curry is when I'm with you in this one point, he created a generation of shooters. He changed a whole generation of people. It's not just he came in being good. He created this is the Steph Curry generation. For Gen Z, forget millennials. This is the Steph Curry generation, and I understand that. I'm not putting him in number 4. I'm putting him number 5. I can give Kareem his dozen. Just because people don't like Kareem doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't deserve to be up there.
Nobody said they didn't like Kareem. All I said was I never got to see him play, so I can't put him on mine.
All right, so hold on. I got 2 players that I want to throw into the mix here.
Okay. Go ahead.
One of them, I think, has to go down as, and maybe we're a little biased here because we're in Boston, but I think one of them has to go down as maybe one of the best competitors of all time, right? And that's I'll say I think Larry Bird should be in like the top 7 discussion, right? I'll put him in like the 5 to 7 spot, right? Someone who I think could make a strong contention for number 4, Shaquille O'Neal. Okay, I think Shaquille O'Neal is one of the most physically dominant athletes in any sport at any point in time. When Shaquille was in his prime, not only was that man taking the ball coast to coast, full court, right? Like he could play any position, but when that dude got the ball down low, there wasn't a single dude in the league that could put a body on him, rebound him, stop him. You see highlights of him just manhandling teams, manhandling him. He's got rings to back it up. I mean...
Yeah. He has broken backboards to back it up.
But honestly, like we talk about LeBron being a physical specimen, like Shaq is like right up there, in my opinion. How many dudes that are that big, that physically dominant can take the ball coast to coast? Like you coordinated, like bro.
To be coordinated that big, bro.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Bro, you know how much coordination and how much work you have to put in to actually move like that. Bro, and he's doing everything.
Yeah.
We want to talk about a good guy doing all this shit. This motherfucker was rapping and movies.
Acting. He's Shazam, dog.
You know what I'm saying?
Bro, Space Jam 2 sucked. I want to watch Shazam, baby. Hey. He had his own video game.
That's what I'm saying. Like, dude was on another level. So I see what you're talking about. And I believe he was the only big man MVP who was also the leading scorer.
Something crazy.
Whatever year that was. But I remember I actually saw that stat yesterday. That's insane, bro.
Yeah. And he, you know what? If I'm not mistaken, he's got at least 4 rings, right? Because I know he had 3 in LA, right? 3? Or 4. Was it 4 in LA or 3 in LA?
He had 3 in LA.
I don't remember.
How many did Kobe?
I believe he
had one in Miami.
Right?
But so it's at least
he won
4.
one. He won one in Miami with D Wade.
Yeah, just the one though, right?
I think didn't he not win one on the bench with the Celtics?
I don't think he was on that Celtics.
It was a year after.
He was on the Celtics, but I don't know if he won one.
Yeah, it was like a year.
Yeah,
it was a year or 2 after.
He was after. I think. So I'm curious. In LA, right? How many did Kobe win post Shaq? He won 2, right?
Post Shaq 2, so that's
okay. So he had 5, right? Okay, so all right, so Shaq has 4. So that's still he has just as many rings as LeBron. I would say in many ways he's just as physically impressive. Like especially like
he won in 2000, 2002, 2001, 2006.
There you go.
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
But if you look at that span, that's 4 in like a span of like 6 or 7 years, right?
That's called being the greatest of all time. You're absolutely right. I can understand where you're putting him at number 4.
Yeah.
Because to do all that in that decade, like that's wild.
Right.
Like I said, I don't think people understand how hard it is to be that coordinated at 7'2", like 300 plus pounds. Like that's wild, bro. Shout out to Shaq. Who's your number 5? I want to hear this one.
So number 5 is tough. I'm actually really conflicted. I want to either say Magic Johnson or Kevin Durant.
Honestly, I was gonna say if you didn't say Magic Johnson, we were done. Because honestly, if you're gonna put Larry Bird up there, him and Magic were probably the two guys.
I said I was throwing Larry Bird's name out there. He didn't make the top 5.
He said 7. He said Larry Bird.
Yeah, 7. But you were asking for number 6. Oh, you asked for number 5. I think you said 6.
No, 5. Yeah, I see, and that's what I'm saying. I see where you're going with the Kevin Durant pick, and that was gonna be my 5 to like round it all out. You know what I mean? Just because, once again, he's 7'1" and can shoot from anywhere, create space whenever, gets to the bucket, whenever he wants. And you know what I'm saying? He's pretty damn good at assisting that ball too.
Yeah.
I don't think we're ever going to see anyone like Kevin Durant ever again. And we've been spoiled to see him for this long, putting up this greatness. He's been talking this shit lately.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I implore him from talking that shit, because if you go back, and everybody's a stat person now, you go back and look at the stats, he was putting up shit, doing numbers that no one else ever done for their franchise.
Yeah.
Coming in at such a young age. So, yeah, of course, talking about 2 teams should retire my shit. Goddamn right they should retire his shit. He earned it. He put that work in. He still got the burners. That's the funniest thing about him.
Facts. He does. That's a psychopath.
It will never go away, but that motherfucker is good and he backs his shit up. So, yeah, I put KD at my 5.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah.
That's mine.
I think we agree for the majority of the top 7.
He wants to put Kareem Abdul-Jabbar up there, bro.
I put Kareem at 4, man. Kareem at 4. Guy is the guy, the all-time big man, all-time scores, all-time this, that, and the other thing. Not the smartest dude in the world, not the most liked, but he got the job done from the Lakers back in the day, man.
He did get the job done. One of the things I'll say, though, is that when he was playing, I get how good he was, but height was a little more rare back then. You know what I mean? 7-footers weren't just roaming. Teams stash 7-footers on the bench nowadays. If
you want to take genetics into fact, it's like saying that Will Chamberlain wasn't a phenomenal individual just because he was a little bit more athletic than everybody and a little bit taller. Come on now. You can only do so much what you can, and at that time, he was the best player.
Well, no, it's like the same reason when I hear stats for any sport, and they name some dude who was a milkman back in the 50s, and he also played in the MLB, or he was he caught this many passes, or he struck this many people out. I'm like, bro, that shit doesn't count. You know what I mean? That shit doesn't count. I'm like, those records are that is just for show.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't mean nothing. You know? So
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I'm like, dude, no. This is these dudes 5'8", 5'9",
he's amazing.
Yeah,
he's
dude,
the best I've ever seen. It's all right, man, you got that.
Yeah.
So wait, Gordon, he's your 4. Who's your 5?
I said Steph Curry was my 5.
Steph is at your 5.
Steph is my 5.
Steph is at your 5.
There's definitely something to be said for being the best shooter of all time.
No, by far. And he broke it so early in his career and with so many less games. And like I said, everyone's trying to shoot like Steph. Everyone's trying to be in that different level. He made a generation. He deserves to be a top 5 basketball player of all time.
All right, question for you guys. Who is somebody that's playing right now that is still in kind of either the beginning or prime of their career that has a chance, 20 years from now, if we would have this conversation again, has a chance to have their name mentioned in it?
Right now, that's a young and up-and-coming player.
Right, and I'm not even saying there necessarily is somebody who's on that path, but if there was somebody that you could think of that,
I got one player for you.
Okay.
I got one player for you. I'm not going to say he's going to be one of the best players of all time.
Okay.
I'm going to say he's already kind of dominant while coming off the bench. And eventually when he comes into his own and actually figures out how he should be even better than who he is today.
Yeah.
Miami's own Tyler Hero, bro. That dude is something else, bro.
You think Tyler Hero
has off the bench? 20 points off the bench. He's a phenomenal asset. You've seen it in the playoffs before from him. Offensively, he's an absolute stud. Eventually, he's going to leave Miami because they already have their set unless Jimmy Butler decides to take another team. He's going to go somewhere else, and he's going to be dropping 25, 30 points a game. You know why? Because he deserves to be on the court. He's not on the court as much as everybody else. That's the difference.
Wait, but you think he has the potential to be an all-time great, a top?
No. That's what I'm saying.
That's his whole question.
I'm just talking about somebody.
No, but that's his question.
Yeah,
we're going to talk about 20 years from now. If we're talking about someone 20 years from now, you're pretty much an all-time great. Think about every single person that we just mentioned.
Jason Tatum.
Bro hasn't played in 30 years.
All right, Jason Tatum counts. You can say Tatum.
Okay,
yeah.
All right, I see that one.
He's on the up-and-coming. He's going to win that championship, and he'll be lamented already. Bro.
Okay.
He's got that Kobe energy on him. He just got to figure it out. Him and Jay Brown are crushing it.
I got one for you.
All right, go ahead.
It's gonna be Luka, bro. It's gonna be Luka Doncic.
I love that.
The people of Dallas love Luka. The people of Dallas love him.
I never watched any of the fucking Mavericks games because obviously we're not in the region, we're not close enough, all that. But when they played the Celtics, dude was he was shaking and baking. And I mean, like the passes that we like see like on SportsCenter, Barstool, whatever we're looking at, whatever platform we're looking at, it was amazing to see like in that split second, but to see it in real time in an actual game, how effortless he was just getting the dime off or just faking out the pass and just finishing the fucking bucket himself. It was pretty amazing. Yeah. They need to get more bigs around him, I feel like. And then he could actually start winning championships, doing the scoring titles, blase ball, whatever he needs to do. But I believe in 20 years from now, we'll still be talking about Luka because that boy is amazing.
See, I'm with you, Steve. Bro, I'm 100% with you. I thought they were going to be next level when they got Porzingis. Because why? Because Porzingis was that guy at the Knicks. And then they had issues with him because Phil Jackson was their head coach and they were having issues or something like that. Remember that? And then it was like, all right, we got to get rid of him because they wasted his talents. He was so hot in the Knicks. And then they wasted his talents and he went there. Everyone thought there would be the dynamic duo. It would be freaking Porzingis and Luka, and it just didn't go like that. Porzingis was the shell of himself, and unfortunately, he fell off. But Luka doesn't go out and compete. He goes out and he's playing basketball. That you know what the difference is? It's like when I'm going in there and I'm playing my hardest to score a good 15, 20 points to be able to help my team out. Bro, he's going out there for fun. He's literally like playing games with the crowd, going up 30 points because he's it's so natural. Like I swear I saw one game, right? He was like just smiling around, dribbling a guy. He looked somewhere, bang, bang. And he tossed it in. And he's like, and he's backing up as if like it's the easiest thing in the world. Like it's like Steph Curry taking a three. He knows he's gonna go in. But Luka's is like he's one of the most confident foreign players I've ever seen. He's unreal.
Yeah, it's a more acrobat in him. You know what I'm saying? That helps that he's about 6'7" as well. You know, that's exactly why I feel like we're really gonna be talking about, bro, 20 years from now. I like that question. Who's yours though?
Honestly, I actually I love Luka, and to be honest, that might be the best one. The guy that I had written down is Ja Morant. I love Ja Morant.
He is an explosive individual. He reminds me of a more competent Westbrook because of how athletic he is.
He reminded me of D Rose when I first saw that moment.
Oh, you know what? You're right.
I hear, bro, he was the living definition of D Rose back in the day. When you just couldn't stop him, when that knee was good, you couldn't tell D Rose shit, bro. And that's exactly what I see in Ja.
So
a little bit more. You know what I mean? He has a little bit more pop in him too. And that's what I like about him. I feel that one. I like that pick.
So I just want to double check too. Okay, because he's 6'3". I didn't know if he was a little taller. He almost. I know Kobe was like 6'6", 6'7", but he reminds me. He reminds me a little of Kobe. I don't know, dude. He just has like a killer instinct. Like remember, young Kobe was explosive as hell. Like he could score from anywhere on the court. Like he was just always wowing you with like his athleticism and like what he was doing. Like that. I don't know. That's what Ja's doing. I guess I kind of like you know, D Rose did it in like a similar way and kind of like a different like, you know, body type.
Yeah, and then do you see why I said like he was like a little bit of D Rose to me? But Ja has a little bit more pop to him.
Yeah,
you feel what I'm saying? Like he has a little bit more bounce in his step, I guess. His flair with the passes is something different too. Yeah, and that's what makes him like really likable with the crowd and everything. Like household name in less than a year. Like man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you got to give that boy props.
I do. Yeah, I really like him, and I think like if he's ever able to if that franchise is ever able to like continue to take that next step and become like a successful long-term team, almost like Golden State did, right? Like Golden State kind of made themselves into a big market team. Like for the longest time, they were not like absolutely, you know what I mean? They were like a nobody in the NBA, and they made themselves into a big market team. Like if he can make them into a big market team out there, like that would
in Memphis, Tennessee. That would be something.
That would be something. But even if he doesn't, even if it's not in Memphis, even if he goes to a big market, that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see him winning in a big market for sure.
But the thing is, I feel like he's in the best situation right now because I don't know if you guys seen this stat. He missed about 23 games, and that span his team went 20-3. While everybody else's star player went out and they had just like abysmal records. I'm talking about 11-30. I saw 1.6-25. Like just records like that, like where your team can't even hold you down and you don't even know anybody else's name on the other team per se. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a problem. But he has actual assets around him. So when he is down and out like he is, his teammates can come up and rally to get that shit going. And I feel like if he could stay there, Memphis could go big time. They could be on a level where they could be like Golden State. They're in the West too. Yeah, they're in the West. Yeah. They're definitely competing in the West. So like that could be another thing. The Western Division is tough as fuck already. And we all know that. It always gets harder every single year.
I mean, without a doubt, he's one of the most exciting players in the NBA right now. Right. I'm talking about exciting. He's just like absolutely like, when even no matter what the record is, people were going to go to Memphis games to see John Morant, whether they're playing the Celtics or whatever, even though they know they're going to lose, they're going to come see him because they want to see John Morant throw it on somebody type shit.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. All right. So, the NBA, honestly, it's interesting right now. I think we're in a good place. I think, like, we're getting to a point in the NBA where, like, we're obviously have like a whole generation, like that whole like 2003, 2005 like era like draft class that came in, and like we're starting to see them kind of come to the end of their careers, and you wonder what the future of the league's going to be like. But I think it's in a good spot right now. I think there's a lot of good young dudes in the league. Like it looks,
the league is in great hands.
You know what I mean?
Especially we're having that 75th year celebration that got going on, where you see the past greats, now the present. You could definitely tell, like, even those generations are mixing and gelling. So it's going to be in a good spot. And the competition level has obviously gone up tremendously. Skill level.
Oh, yeah.
way past whatever they were doing back in the day. So, we're in a good spot where it comes to the NBA.
For sure. We're also seeing, like, the development of, like, a new kind of player, which is like this, 6'10", 7-foot, swingman who can, bang threes. He can dribble. He can ball handle. He can pass. So this is, so it's a new generation of players coming into the game, and I think it's going to be very interesting. Keeping it with basketball, we just wrapped up March Madness. I gotta say, I'm heartbroken, absolutely heartbroken, that my Blue Devils went out the way they did against North Carolina. And I want to talk about that game real quick. All right, because it's a Final Four game, and I think it was probably – is it fair to say that in what is arguably – actually, I don't even think it's arguably. I think it is the biggest rivalry in college basketball. I think it's one of the biggest rivalry in all of college sports, if not the biggest. So I think it's one of the biggest. Come on now.
But that's what I was gonna say. Like when it comes to when we think of NCAA, right? When we think of college football, we can name pretty much, I think, like 20, 25 teams are like big rivals that we're like, oh, that one's gonna be a good one.
Right.
But when it comes to NCAA basketball, that's the only one that comes to my mind. There's no other rival game that even comes close because I don't know any.
Guys, just stop.
You know what I'm saying?
Just stop the side conversation.
What you got? What do you
stop
got?
This due diligence.
Tell us.
Stop this blasphemy. We all understand, and I know you're agreeing with me. I'm not going against you, Steve. I'm telling you right now.
Oh, okay.
There are a lot of great basketball rivalries. Like Michigan State's a phenomenal rivalry.
That's a good one, yeah.
They got BC versus. There's a lot of good rivalries.
Yeah.
ACC, granted, no one cares about ACC basketball except for this year. There's a lot of Big 10, like Big 12, Pac-12, a lot of good rivalries. UCLA, USC, there's a big one too. But from a historical standpoint, from the beginnings of time, UNC versus Duke is by far one of the oldest rivalries of all time, right? And you got to think about it. What more suiting for Coach K? I don't even want to say his full name. At this point, he lost. I don't want to. He doesn't deserve for me to say his full name. It was regular season. He lost to the boys in the Carolina Blue. You know what? You guys are lucky I'm not wearing my Carolina Blue shirt. I wore it so many times this last week. I had to wash it because it smelled like victory. I had to wash it because of that last game. I had to wash it. It's gross. But he comes into the last season of the game. He says, you know what? We're going to stomp these boys because they're nothing. And you know what? I understand. I've been watching them all season.
I don't think he said that.
Hey. Whether he says it verbally or whether he's thinking of it, I understand Coach K and his mentality. He goes in every single game, no matter how big you are, thinking he's going to stomp them. You know why? Because Coach K, as much as I don't want to give him credit, he's a winner. So he's going in thinking he's going to stomp this UNC team who is, historically this year not been that great. What happens? They pull up on them. You know what they did the entire time? Pick and roll. You watch that entire game. They lived and died by the pick and roll. They didn't do anything else, and they couldn't handle it. Branchero, the number one pick, couldn't handle the pick and roll. The whole Keel, one of their top 3 guys on there, couldn't handle the pick and roll. You know why? Because UNC found who they were supposed to be, and they did it. And they were able to take that all the way to the Final Four where they were able to meet Coach K again. And they sent him on his merry way, sent him on his little, he wants to go on a merry little way back to retirement. You know why? Because that's where he needs to be. He is done. He's kaput.
All right. So look, first off, I guess my first question is, in that we just said it's one of the longest, biggest rivalries in all of college sports.
The only one I know for basketball.
Right, exactly. Was that the biggest game in the rivalry's history? And keep in mind, too, that was also the first game that they've ever met in the tournament against each other. Their storied history, all those years.
If that's the case, then most definitely.
Right?
If that's the case, most definitely.
So,
to see that man packing for his last season ever, yeah, most definitely.
So,
I saw tweets from fans that said we can lose every single game the rest of my life to Duke, and I would not care. Do you know how deep it is to actually say that as a diehard UNC fan going against Duke? Just because you wanted to see that man get the fuck out. Not only did you do it once, you did it twice.
So that's okay. So
this is as a UNC fan, and I went to school in North Carolina. I've been in Franklin Street, and I understand the depths. Honestly, I feel like I understand, but they still feel like that us people that are not from there don't understand.
Right.
This was the greatest year in UNC basketball. Without a championship. Because we beat Coach K on his last regular season game and his last game ever. Just so you know that. All UNC fans, they've won this year. It doesn't matter if they didn't win. They won already. I'm just saying.
Last game ever you send them packing in the Final Four. Damn whatever happens after that. But we'll get to that debacle of a 20-point lead that they had soon.
Ankles. That court was fucked up. Ankles. Guy was about to have a heart attack. Man, they got a forearm to the friggin' face 3 times. He was concussed as the first half.
So okay, all right, look.
Sorry.
What?
I guess we already here, bro.
No, but hey, look, here's what I'll admit right now. I actually, I think that I'm a rare case because most people, I feel like when it comes to Duke, North Carolina, I feel like most people aren't impartial, right? Not saying there aren't people out there that aren't impartial, but most people, it's a very polarizing thing. You either love Duke and hate North Carolina, or you love North Carolina and hate Duke, right? That's the majority of people. You know what I mean? I'm in a situation where I love Duke. I love Duke, diehard Duke, but I don't hate North Carolina at all. And I actually loved this year's North Carolina team. Those dudes were that starting 5.
My God, Baycott was holding.
Oh my God, bro! I have so much respect for
since the Elite Eight. I started watching them play. I was like, damn, I like how this dude plays.
That was
a fucking championship game. Yeah,
that was a tough, hard-nosed group of dudes that play for North Carolina. And you know what? They were not a deep team. From the Duke game from the first Duke game the second Duke game of the year, but the first time they beat them at Cameron Indoor right before the tournament, right? from that point onward, they played a 6-man rotation the entire rest of the way.
It's more like a 7-man rotation. They had number 22. They had number 22.
So he only.
It was kind of 7. Oh boy, he got in.
He got in.
It was Cam Johnson's brother, Caleb Johnson, and that number 22 dude that came from like defensive standpoint.
Right, but
continue.
No, but
that's when he like trickles up. I feel what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like that dude only came in like injury or foul trouble situations. He was not a part of the rotation. You know what I mean? Like, even Johnson wasn't like a major part of the rotation. He was like a push, break glass in case of emergency, like bringing a 6-man off the bench. Like there were a bunch of games since then where like they played full halves with just their starting 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that was not a deep team. So for them to do what they did, that just shows like how good, like, and how well coached they were, and how that starting 5 came together, and like they really were super talented, and they just were. But beyond that, I think they were tough, man. They were like, that was a tough team, like you said. Like they played through injury, they got physical, like they got after it.
They just couldn't hang. That team was stacked. Kansas was fucking stacked this year. That boy Remy Martin came alive in the second half. I don't know if he took a shot of Remy Martin at the half, but something was.
He took like 3, a little bit more than Cardi B though. That's
shit was clicking. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to them for getting it done. But I'm still kind of disappointed that they couldn't hold on to that lead, man. That was gonna be something.
That would have been the perfect season. Let
me tell you something. You know what? If it was from a health standpoint, if everyone was on point, UNC could have held that off and taken it, right? You got Armando Baycott, who already rolled his ankle the game before. 2 days. And at a certain age, when we were in high school and we were playing basketball, you could tie your shoes up tight and run back. But when you're in college, and you know this, even the smallest injury that you don't think is that big of a deal becomes a big deal when you're playing big times. And so what happens? He rolls his ankle for the second time, can't even walk on it. Caleb Love, who's doing everything in his heart to like try to figure out how to start this offense again, rolls his ankle, was trying to hop off and said, nah, fuck it. Continue to hobble the rest of the game. Manic took a freaking tricep to his face. And I don't know if people actually looked at it or have seen people in concussion protocol, but he literally was looking around like he had no idea where he was. And I'm like, that's crazy. And then Caleb Johnson was the guy that he became Manic was supposed to be the X factor. Caleb Johnson became the X factor. He ignited the boys to come back and started making a run. That's why they were down by 10 points at one point. Guy has not, like you said, he does not play that many minutes. And he literally looked like he was having a heart attack. Like he was grabbing his heart, about to pass out, spitting on the ground. And so it's like you had the 4 guys that are supposed to make the biggest difference, and RJ Davis is kind of like whatever. And all of a sudden, like, you fall to pieces. If the teams were even, because if you look at that first half, that Ochaya, whatever his name is, was getting bullied by freaking Baycott, because Baycott at the end of the season and in the playoffs learned how to be a big guy, figured it out, and was showing him the way of the warrior. And all of a sudden, then next you know, what happens? The game, we're down by 2. We finally made it back. Manic is now to be the big guy because, and Manic's not a good big guy, but that's all they have from a talent standpoint. They didn't have that depth, like Justin was saying. And so obviously Ochai was like, oh, easy pickings, threw 6 quick ones real quick. What do you expect?
Can't do anything at that point. And like I said, they've known what they had this season was special, regardless if they won or not. But the icing on the cake would have been to win that championship. They just got to go out and recruit. If they want to get back to the level of, hey, this is UNC, Tar Heels, baby blue, like this is a place you want to be because we are a historical team. We're a historical college. Mike went here, you know what I'm saying? So like you have to represent in that aspect. But once again, shout out to Kansas. Them boys were just ready and they had a lot more depth. Their coaching was outstanding to come from behind that much. Yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah, I gotta say, one thing that really drives me crazy, because like, I think as a fan back home, when you're watching, you can sense the momentum shift, right? You can sense when the game just starts to swing and when a team is in trouble, right? And you got those timeouts there. And the thing that I've never understood is why coaches sometimes wait so long and let teams go on such a large run before calling that timeout and slowing things down. Because like at a certain point, once the momentum gets going, you know, if it's up to a certain point, like even the timeout like doesn't do too much. So, you know,
think of it. So think of it like you're a parent, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you want your child to succeed, but you know that you can't give him or her everything every step of the way. They're gonna have to figure some things out, like us growing up. You know what I'm saying? Give us opportunity and chances to show that we can come back. Just like the situation they found themselves in. It sucks because you want to call that timeout so bad, right? I've experienced it myself this past season. I want to call a timeout so bad, just be like, hey, let's get in here, let's talk it. But you have to know and realize at some point they're going to have to grow up. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have to find a way. They're going to have to figure out something to stop this momentum that's going against them. So let's say had so much before. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to call it, but you would hope it wasn't going to be that late. So I understand what you're saying in that point. Definitely should have called it a little bit sooner. But as a coach, like that's some real shit. Like you want your team to embrace whatever they're going through, good or bad, especially the bad, so they can have some resilience. You know what I'm saying? If they find themselves in a situation like this again, once again, it's a championship, but you're just trying to give them that leeway, if that makes any sense.
It makes 100% sense. I guess that's kind of there's the two sides of the coin, right? There's that one where it's like you give them the leeway and you let them try to be resilient and fight through, like, you know, kind of handle their best push and weather the storm, so to speak, right? But then I could also look at it and make a case that say, okay, just from like a pure strategic standpoint, right? Like I look at it in terms of like math, momentum, all that shit. Like if I got a 15-point lead, like, hey, if this swings to like another like 4 or 5 unanswered points, bang, quick timeout. I have a play in my back pocket that I'm drawing up that is we've used in the past that is like almost, you know, not guaranteed, but is more likely than not we will get a score or scoring opportunity off of it, right? And try to level out what just happened right there and get some momentum back, you know, don't let them get rolling and get yourself kind of back on track. So I could see both kind of working, to be completely honest. I guess it just depends on, as a coach, you got to make that decision in the moment, like what's best for the team right now. But it's tough.
And like you just said right there, like you have to know your team, though. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to know what kind of group that you're leading.
Right.
Can these guys actually come back? If I call this timeout right now, would that shoot their confidence down? Well, they think I don't trust them to like get back. So when we do come out,
they should have called a timeout. They should have called it.
They should have, and that's what I'm saying. Like you don't want to do that to your team at that point because you want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But goddamn, Cincinnati, we got to get right, and that part didn't happen.
And you know, and one other quick thing too is here's one other thing I noticed out of North Carolina. And I watched the game with my dad and brother, and I turned to them because you know, at the end of the first half, and if you go back and watch the game, North Carolina kind of, when they went on that run and got up to like their 16-point lead, they took their foot off the gas for like the last like 2 minutes of the half. And that included that dude number 22 that we were saying isn't never part of the rotation or not normally part of it, coming in for Brady Manick. And they brought Brady Manick off, who's like, you know, offense, key player, right? And he sat like the last like 2-3 minutes of that first half. And the lead, you know, at that point, North Carolina was on like a crazy unanswered run, and they had built the lead up to 16. And instead of taking all the momentum into the second half and potentially trying to build that lead to like a 20-plus like lead, they kind of took their foot off the gas. They blew a couple opportunities. They got sloppy. They made a substitution. And then they went into the half up 15. And not to say that, like, you know, I get they made a nice shot at the end of the half to get it back from, I think it was 12 back up to 15. But basically is, you know, I looked at my dad and brother and I was like, damn, like they kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit. Like if Kansas makes a comeback, like this is the type of shit where like you have a team like down on the ground, you got your foot in their throat, and you don't squash it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they fucked the bag on that one, and that's like I said, some growing pains, and they know next time, hey, we're in this position again, we're gonna go for fucking blood. You see blood in the water, fucking attack. And he didn't execute that part. But that's, like I said, it's a growing pain. Coach had an amazing year. Got his team to the Final Four, got his team to the national championship as a player and as a coach. So shout out to that dude, but they're gonna definitely learn from this experience. They knew they had something special this year, and they really could have put the icing, you know what I'm saying, on top of that cake. Unfortunately, they fell short, but beating Duke twice and then sending Coach K packing for his last game ever.
Yeah, and you really gotta give a little bit of credit to the ACC too, right? This has probably been one of the worst ACC seasons from a holistic standpoint, from a conference, right? Mm-hmm. SEC, everyone's like, oh, Auburn, Kentucky, Tennessee, all those guys are going to make the biggest difference. And what happened? You have two ACC's teams in the Final Four, and they proved to be a best game. And honestly, as much as this was unpredicted from a Final Four standpoint, it was probably one of the best Final Fours you could have seen. You know, how close those games were at the end of the day. So, you know, I give my hats off to the UNC guys, especially just like I said, from a UNC fan standpoint, this is probably one of the worst UNC teams, but they figured it out and they toughed it out and they let all the voices out of their head and they were able to prevail all the way to the Final Four, all the way to the championship game. And, you know, you got to give them respect for that. So, all to those UNC guys, even to the Duke guys working their tail off. But you know, Kansas wins at the end of the day, and you know, good luck to Kansas, and you know, much appreciated for a good competitive standpoint, if that makes sense.
Yeah, great season. Yeah. Really interesting.
Anything else? Anything else you guys want to touch on real quick before we?
The draft is coming up. A whole bunch of shit's moving on that board. You already know who number one pick's going to be. Hutchinson, Michigan. Go blue, baby. Go blue.
Hey, man. You know what? I'm gonna let you have it. I don't have enough energy to make fun of your Michigan boys. All right. I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna let you sit with that. All right. Let it sizzle in your soul a little bit. All right.
Always.
What are you saying?
Let's get it.
All right. Hey, yeah, we'll catch you guys. Episode 27 of the Trenches coming at you guys. As always, we got both our guys remote this week, SK and Don Gordon, but we will be back at you hopefully next week with episode 28. You know, there's plenty to talk about. Like you said, we get the draft. We got more. Still, NFL free agency is still going on. So I mean, you know, there's a lot. There's a lot happening right now, as usual. You know, so we'll catch you guys next week. We'll have a lot to talk about. Be easy.
Easy.